Hey there, everyone. The one called Fate knocks at your door. It's your boy Hunt with Big Boy Chungus here. Say hello.
Robble, robble.
We've had quite a day today. But today, or this week's podcast, is our first big Pokemon one.
Mm-hmm.
It's an overview kind of Pokemon Gen 6, which is made up of several different sets based around the XY games. Ta-da. I've been collecting Pokemon since Gen 1, collecting the cards, but I've been playing since Gen 4. How long have you been playing? You've been playing at least since 5.
I started collecting a little bit at the same time you did it during Gen 1. I think all of us in our circle
collected together, yeah.
But then I kind of got separated from our friends group because my family moved out of town, and I just stopped with Pokemon. And then actually came back during Gen 6. I didn't start
I think you came back during 5. Black and White?
Yes. Okay, so yeah, it was Gen 5. But it was when the EXs were like just starting to come out.
Yeah, because EX was a thing during Ruby and Sapphire in Gen 3, and then they got rid of it, and then they brought it back. And it stayed around for a while.
Yeah, this was the second wave of EXs, the ones that didn't suck.
Yeah, let's give a little overview of the game overall for anyone who doesn't play, because I know we have people out there who listen to every episode. Now, but before we do that, we're going to actually roll for initiative to see who starts, and remember, if you don't want to start, you can yield your time.
9.
Okay, you pick.
I can go first.
Yeah, you're pretty good at explaining games. You don't have to give like every rule of the game, but just like a brief overview of how it's played.
Right. So if you've ever played the Pokemon video games or Game Boy games, you have a party of 6 Pokemon, and you and one other opponent will take turns attacking each other until you've knocked out all of your opponent's other Pokemon.
You have to take 6 prize cards.
Yes. In the trading card game, they do something similar, but because not everyone's going to have exactly 6, you have what's known as prize cards. These are 6 cards that you draw at the very beginning of the game before anyone takes their turn, and these represent the knockouts that you have until a Pokemon is removed from play. This kind of simulates the 6 Pokemon rule in the video games. You can play a basic Pokemon card from your hand for no cost at the beginning of the game and throughout the game, and then you can level up those Pokemon through evolution cards and items and other useful little tools.
And you can only have 5 Pokemon on the field to also go with the 6-party thing from the video games.
Right. The field is divided up into 2 parts, the active playing field and the bench. The bench represent the Pokemon that are in reserve, such as in the game, and then the active field is between the 2 Pokemon that are actively battling. And then you pretty much just use the attacks and moves that your Pokemon have assigned to them on the card, and you and your Pokemon will go back and forth much like the video game until one opponent has either taken all of their prize cards,
or knocked out all your Pokemon and you don't have anything to send up from the bench, which is where your Pokemon sit when they're not battling.
Or they deck out.
Yeah.
So 3 ways to win. And that's pretty much the game in a nutshell. Nothing's fancy.
Yeah, we might do a bigger rule explanation when we talk about the game as a whole.
But right now we're just talking about Gen 6 and the cards that come with it, specifically the EXs, because that's all anyone ever really cares about.
Yeah, so Gen 6, all the XY cards were in this. And the kind of big main card that everybody used were EXs. That just kind of carried over from Gen 5. They kept it, and they're just really strong Pokemon that are always basic. And then if you defeat one, you take 2 prize cards instead of 1 because they're so powerful.
Yes, that was the drawback, because you could have as many EXs in the deck as you wanted, but you were likely to lose twice as fast if you didn't know how to use them properly.
To be completely honest, EXs were a bit of a problem because you could have so many since they were all basic Pokemon. I felt, because you never had to evolve up to anything, and I felt like that kind of made them a little too strong. Like, you really should have had to evolve up to them. And Gen 7 kind of fixed that with their GXs, but...
And, I mean, you're exactly right. Most EX Pokemon had twice the health of even Stage 2 evolution Pokemon. Their attacks did twice the damage, and they were just twice as hard to defeat.
Yeah.
So
the health wasn't too bad.
yeah, but when you consider some Pokemon, like an evolved Pokemon would have 100 to 120 HP, and the lowest HP an EX would have is like 170. It gets pretty crazy after a while.
Yeah, but the HP doesn't seem so bad now compared to what we currently have.
Yeah, GXs have just kind of, as I like to call it, it's the HP inflation rate.
And now we got the Vs, and we don't even have any of those yet because we're mostly getting Magic cards right now.
Yeah, Pokemon and the Pokemon Company at Nintendo, they're slowly increasing the HP power and value rate of these cards, which I get.
You have to increase them a little bit each generation because you want people to get those cards because they need to be stronger than the old cards.
Exactly. But then at the same time, I have a little bit of a concern with that because you have a card game like Magic the Gathering where you can take brand new cards and the cards from the first set and run them in a deck no problem.
So, yeah, you just Pokemon cards, even if you're playing like Expanded or Legacy online, like the Gen 1 cards just won't run well with Gen 6 onward and other stuff because it just... I feel like Pokemon cards get stronger too quickly, almost. Even though it's been like over 20 years, still, it feels like the Gen 6 cards jumped a lot between like Gen 6 and 8. Yeah. It's like, wow.
And it really kind of puts it into perspective. You know, if this is where Pokemon have come since Gen 1, who's to say what the next Pokemon cards over the next decade will look compared to these?
Yeah, but these EXs are just, they're really cool cards. Pokemon, for their big special cards, really they have the coolest looking ones. And I would say Dragon Ball Super second, and then maybe like Magic, then Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
Because Pokemon's like the Pokemon are big and they're just hollow everywhere and they're like ripping out of the picture.
Or there's like elemental effects. Like dark Pokemon usually have like void images behind them. They have particle effects. And then you've got the full arts, which they take all of that, but then they add like a three-dimensional texture.
Oh, Pokemon does the best full art cards.
Yeah, even like if you were to look at the ultra rares from Dragon Ball Z or anything like that, comparatively, I think Pokemon does the best in those. I've even got a couple like Volcanion EX, Umbreon, Ho-Oh.
Yeah, Volcanion was pretty meta for a while.
Yeah, but it's more eye-catching in general.
Yeah, I think Gen 6 cards can still run pretty well because I have a deck that's mostly Gen 6 and I kind of kick your butt with it all the time.
You do, yeah.
And your decks are mostly Gen 7.
That's your Glalie deck, right?
Yeah. We don't have any, you don't have any Gen 8 cards, do you?
Nope, I haven't bought any.
We should get on that one day. Once we get the trading card goblin playing Pokemon with us.
The reason I haven't been investing as much in Pokemon as I have been is I'm finally getting to a part where I can update my game room a little bit more. I've got some bookshelves coming in.
You've just been focusing on Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
Yeah.
More recently.
Yeah, because you're the only person I play Pokemon with. We've been trying to get our buddy Connor involved, and he's kind of dragging his feet on that.
Yeah. We finally got him to play something new today, which will be next week's episode, Munchkin. Very fun game. You'll have to check that out. But that's basically it for the EX cards. My only real problem with the EXs was that they were all basic. They were all basic Pokemon, and that made them too easy to play.
And then didn't they change... this may be a subject for a little bit later on, but didn't they kind of fix that a little bit with the Mega EX evolutions or whatever?
Mega EX will be the next thing we talk about, yeah. But because all the EXs were basic, and they were so powerful that you really should have had to evolve up to them, and they kind of tried to balance it. And it's a good thing that you took 2 prize cards when you beat an EX. That was good, because you definitely deserved it.
Gave it some weight.
Yeah, gave it some weight. But the EXs just carried over from Gen 5, but they were pretty cool. So next we're going to talk about something that came about in Gen 6, the Mega Evolutions, because they always try to translate something from the video games into the card game, and they had Mega Evolutions. So they translated that into the card game. So what Mega Evolutions were evolutions of EX cards, but once you evolved them, your turn ended because they were so powerful.
Unless you had a specific item that was meant for that Pokemon EX.
But like cards like Skyla and stuff, which were in that rotation, those items would be really easy to get out. Like, probably half the time I've played my Mega Glalie EX, I've I've just had the Spirit Link on, and I only have one Spirit Link in that deck. So
yeah. Which, by the way, if you ever get your hands on any of the full art trainer cards, they still have some of my favorite artwork.
Yeah, I have the Breakpoint Full Art Skyla. You do too. It's beautiful. But we will get to those other full art cards as well. Because the Mega Evolutions were the same way as the EXs. They had their normal ones, and then they had their beautiful full arts.
So, yeah, the fact that unless you had specific items, you couldn't really play them right away, kind of nerfed them a little bit. But, again, with Skyla and specific trainers, it was not a hard thing to get around.
Yeah, the Megas are really strong. The Mega in my deck does like 250 damage.
Yeah.
That's after it takes like 10 damage counters, but
you have such a health pool with that Glalie EX Mega Evolution that...
Yeah, the health is so high on the Mega Evolutions. It's wild.
It's and then I've got a Alakazam Mega EX that I run in the deck, and
that one's a little more strategic than just a hard hitter. But my water deck heals a lot, so once I go like right below that amount, I can just bring it back up again.
Exactly. So some were more strategic and specific than others, like the Alakazam Mega EX. Does more damage the more damage counters your opponent's Pokemon already has.
Yeah.
So with your Pokemon that are constantly healing, he's next to useless because he can't do enough damage off the bat to knock anything out.
Like there were these like Zubat, Golbat, Crobat in Gen 6, I think, that could do damage from the bench, and that's the kind of cards that go well with that. But I think that's enough on Megas. Now we're going to talk about cards that got like no attention. They were in like the latter half of the sets. No one seems to care about them. Break Evolution cards.
Do you even remember which set these started in?
Breakthrough.
Okay. I remember they were before X and Y. Or no. What was Evolutions? I knew they were before Evolutions.
Evolutions was the very last set.
Okay.
Yeah, the Break Evolutions were like these sideways cards that you would put over the picture on your other cards, and they would retain the attacks of the Pokemon they evolved from.
Yeah, I like to call them EX Light Evolutions, because it was basically an additional evolution for a specific type of Pokemon. They got a slight HP buff, and they also got an additional move or ability in addition to all of their other attacks and abilities as well.
Yeah, I've sold pretty much all of mine except for my Greninja and both my Raticates, because I run my Raticates in a deck still.
I've got a couple, but most of the breaks are garbage.
Yeah, they're not very good.
Yeah, Carbink's break is okay. Carbink is a basic Pokemon anyways, but his break just allows him to utilize energy that's in your graveyards.
Yeah. And all a Break Evolution looks like is just that Pokemon, but gold. Yeah.
I'm like gold.
And it's not. It does. I don't think it's even based off anything in the games. I think they just wanted a new type of special card.
Yeah, it was. It's like a power up. I don't know if there's a move that does something like that in the game.
Yeah,
I feel like it was like an attempt at Mega Evolutions before Mega Evolutions became a thing.
I think it might have been a way to try to balance out EXs a little bit, because EXs were really strong, and they were like, oh man, we need something tough that you won't lose two prizes. Because if you beat one of these, I don't think you lose.
No, you don't.
Two. No, that's right.
Yeah, so you still retain
the attacks, abilities, weaknesses, resistance, and retreat cost of the previous evolution.
Exactly, and you get a little bit of an HP power buff to go toe-to-toe with EXs.
And a new attack.
But without any of the risk of losing an extra prize card.
But yeah, there are good ones. Zoroark is good. Greninja is good.
I actually still have my Greninja break that I traded from you. And this card is, to this day, you can still viably play with this card.
You played with it forever. The only reason you dismantled that deck is because you lost a couple cards in it and you didn't know where they went.
Yeah, but I still hold on to it. It's one of my favorite cards. Greninja's just one of my favorite Pokemon.
That's one of mine too.
My absolute favorite is Garchomp, but unfortunately they didn't make a Garchomp break as far as I know.
Yeah, I don't remember one.
Greninja's a close second, just because he's like Sonic, gotta go fast, and if he gets fast enough, you might as well just give up. You can't hit him.
Yeah, good times.
But I particularly like his ability. Like, the reason why he's worth $10 today on any given retail store is that he has an ability called Water Shuriken, Giant Water Shuriken, where you sacrifice a water energy before you attack, and you instantly do 60 bonus damage.
Yeah.
So it's like a free attack before you attack.
Yeah, and then lots of the break evolutions were actually made specifically for a specific pre-evolution. So there was a Greninja that Greninja break was specifically made for, and they go great together. And your deck really kicked butt.
Yeah, I didn't really want to dismantle that deck, but
yeah, it was probably the best. It's probably the best Pokemon deck you've ever made.
Yeah, I kind of miss it a little bit, but once I get back into Gen 8, I want to create more decks for Pokemon, just like I've created more decks for Magic, because I feel like I've neglected that game a little bit.
Yeah, because I have one deck for Magic and so many Pokemon decks, it's insane because I never dismantle them. And you have like two Pokemon decks and several boxes of Magic decks. So, actually, we're going to talk about art as a whole, but I do want to mention the full art supporter cards before we go any further, because that is going to be in art. Pokemon's full art supporter cards are the coolest looking cards in the entire game, and they're kind of worth the most money too. Everyone wants them.
Which is surprising because they're like side items to support the deck. That's the term supporter.
Yeah.
But people like these more than the actual Pokemon cards.
Like, I think the highest price I've sold one for is like $20.
I haven't sold it, but I actually did pull a full art supporter trainer card from one of the more recent sets. It's that one with blue.
Oh, yeah.
That card's worth like $40 online.
Jeez.
But only the full art version.
Most expensive card I sold was $30.
But they all have alternative poses and artwork. Like my favorite one that I've got from Gen 6 is the Team Rocket's handiwork. It's got 3 Team Rocket grunts that are all posed together in the shape of an R.
Yeah, that's from Fates Collide.
And this one,
the Skyla's from Breakpoint.
Skyla one, so that was from the Breakpoint set.
Yeah, because you remember Breakpoint because that's Gyarados' tail in the corner.
Oh, okay.
And then it's Mega Alakazam's head for Fates Collide.
I knew that one.
Yeah.
But then, one of the other art things that I liked, kind of moving on from the
there was kind of something we didn't mention about the Megas. So they have the name of their attack written across the picture, and it's in Japanese.
Right, and the Japanese word translated is the name of the attack.
Which I literally just said, yes.
Sorry, my brain.
But you tell them about the Japanese one.
But
on the
what
Japanese
I think is
cards.
cool, it's reversed. In the Japanese cards where everything is written in kanji, they have the English word written across the front. So like if on Primal Groudon EX, you would have the kanji, and then you translate that to Giga Volcano.
Is that kanji? They have multiple lettering systems and
That's
stuff.
Kanji is the one that I know is their most. It's usually, I think, the most common.
If it ain't English, I don't know it.
A little bit.
I only know English and some German.
But I think that's clever that they're consistent with the different cultures.
So, while I think the EX art was good and like half of the break art was good, all the full art was good for supporters, Pokemon, secret rares, etc. Like, the regular art for the set was just
okay.
Yeah, and like I can't think of many cards that stand out like at all. I can for like side sets, which we're going to talk about in a sec, but as far as normal just cards go, in Gen 6, I can't think of any special art that stands out. Like in Gen 7, I can think of several, like the Meowth stealing the melon from Inkay. And stuff like that. Yeah.
It was almost like the cards were telling a story.
Yeah, because there was also an Inkay card where it's stealing the melon back from Meowth. Like, I can remember so many different Gen 7 cards, but in Gen 6, it's like, what's your favorite Gen 6 card? And I'm like, I can't think of anything that's not a special card.
Yeah. There wasn't anything really. I mean, EXs, they were revitalizing that from the first failed EX attempt. But that was like all you could remember. There was nothing engaging about anything that wasn't an EX.
Yeah, the art just seemed... I don't want to say lazy, because individual artists, I'm sure, worked hard on it. But
yeah, the art's not bad. It just wasn't as eye-catching compared to stuff that we see in the future.
I mean, look at Heart Gold, Soul Silver, the greatest Pokemon art of all time. Legend cards, those beautiful primes, and even the regular cards had like rustic edges and lots of shadows across them. Like, remember the Heart Gold, Soul Silver Scizor that's like rushing through a field and backlit by the moon?
I do, yeah.
That's straight up gorgeous. A gorgeous card, and the holo makes it pop. Like, that is a Pokemon card.
But you don't really see that early on in the Gen 6 stuff. At least, I didn't start seeing it kind of a transition here until they came out with the 20th anniversary box sets.
Yeah, the Generation set, which is a set I specifically wanted to talk about. So, Pokemon does these sets that are separate from the main sets, where you can't buy the packs individually, but you can only get them in special boxes. And Generations was the 20th anniversary set. And it had a lot of reprints, which was kind of stupid to kind of fill it out. But it had these cards that in Japan were like these special kind of girly cards to kind of get more women into the game, I think.
Yeah, the ones with the charms and stuff.
And they're honestly gorgeous. Like, that set had some beautiful full arts, like this, where these Pikachus were doing a dog pile. I sold that card for a lot of money.
I remember they had a bunch of evolutions in that set where
they
were like super cute and they were like playful portraits of the evolutions.
The Flareon in that deck was so cute. The full art Sylveon was a gorgeous card. That set had a lot of really cool special cards, like the Charizard, where it was like a story. So if you had the Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard, they all, like, you get to watch them age with their trainer.
Yeah.
And they're gorgeous cards. I don't remember what the charms mean on them.
I think they're just markers to tell a story, something like that.
Like we watched a video that explained it. We just don't remember.
Yeah, that was a completely set standalone in Japan. They just padded it for the American release because America ships everything later and in bulk. So, like any American set, even the special ones, they'll have like 3 to 4 Japanese sets all crammed into one. So it was kind of weird seeing that you had the cutesy ones with the charms were like a third of the set, and then you had like these really cool popping full arts and everything with the same set. But the thing that caught me the most were the monthly promo cards.
Oh yeah, because each one of those box sets had their own like full art card.
Yeah, and you can only get that one for that month.
It was really cool. So each one of those monthly sets was like a different legendary or mythical Pokemon as a full art promo. And then you got, was it 2 or 3 packs? I think it was 3 packs.
I think it was 3.
Of Generations and a pin.
Yeah. And the thing that I absolutely loved about the Generations boxes was the pull rates were crazy. Like, even modern day sets don't have the same level of...
Yeah.
You were guaranteed... I think you were guaranteed 1 EX per pack.
No. But there were 2 slots that were potential EXs, so you could get 2 EXs in those boosters at a time, which happened several times.
And some of which you could even get 2 full arts.
Yeah, because there was the slot for the special cards as well, and the special cards could be EXs, and then there was the regular EX slot.
Yeah. But it was crazy. I remember this was before we were doing videos. We would just open packs in our rooms wherever we were. I don't think I had moved into my place where I'm at right now just yet, but we would open them and we would have like 5 to 6 EXs out of like 7 packs.
Yeah, we would get a lot of them. And I pulled like Mega Gardevoir full art like several times. The one that had the really cool art with the 1 Mega Gardevoir and then the shiny Mega Gardevoir. Remember that card?
I remember that.
That was a nice card, dude. Generations had so many great cards, like the full art Pikachu's, Dogpile. I already mentioned all that, I think.
And did they bring back secret rares with that set? No, I'm not talking
secret rares I don't think went away.
I'm not talking the golden ones. I'm talking like the alternative art ones. Like, no, I'm thinking of evolutions.
You're thinking of something else.
I'm thinking of the evolutions where they had like a bunch of like the surfing and the balloon Pikachus and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's another set we need to talk about. XY Evolutions, the very last set of Gen 6. So in XY Evolutions... Okay, so there was this Japanese set that reprinted all the original stuff with a few new EXs and a few new Megas, and then they just kind of threw that out into the public. And America was like...
This is garbage.
No, yeah, they were like, let's do it too, and then they printed it over here.
Oh, yeah, the Pokemon Company in America thought, hey, let's cash in on nostalgia. And then everyone, after they bought their first couple packs, was like, this is... nothing. This is no good.
Because I don't look up the cards before I get the packs because I like to be surprised by the art and everything. And I open these up, and they're just trash. They're literal reprints of cards that I mostly still had, because I still had I sold all my Gen 1 cards now, for the most part, but just all these reprint cards that are so old they can't fight. You can't put them in a deck because they're so bad.
Yeah, I actually made the mistake of thinking that they're just the old art, but with up-to-date statistics and HP. Mm-hmm. No, they're the exact same cards from Gen 1 in 1996. There's no way you can play with these in the standard format. They
made some of the cards fairy type that weren't originally fairy type. I remember they did that with the Clefairy card. And once again, they did put a few new EXs and Megas in there.
But that's what everybody wanted, though. Like, the people, if anyone was buying the packs, it was just for the chance to get the EXs. And, like, the money card was that alternative Charizard print.
And there were still break cards in that set, too, like Starmie and Ninetales. And breaks were surprisingly easy to pull in that set. I don't know why, because I always got breaks when I was getting, because this set was so bad nobody wanted it that they're still putting like Evolutions packs in box sets today just to get rid of them.
You can't buy a box promo set of anything. Even I guarantee you they'll still be shuffling Evolutions in Gen 8 packs.
Oh my goodness!
They made so many of them, expecting nostalgia. People will go crazy for this, and then no one bought them because they're garbage.
They're just really bad. If you see Evolutions like on clearance, it's not worth it. It's not. It's a horrible way.
You won't see them on shelves or anything like that because they're all in the boxes.
What a horrible way to end Gen 6. Just awful. So, overall thoughts on Gen 6?
It was fun and unique when it came out, but compared to the stuff that is presently coming out, it's not as good as it could have been.
Yeah, I feel like lots of the just regular standard cards in it kind of still hold up.
Some do.
Because I still use that Generations Frostlass. It still kicks butt.
A couple breaks are also really good.
I think the Megas still hold up. Some of the EXs still hold up. But the EXs I feel like only hold up because they're all basics.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason.
Yeah. Even GXs nowadays, I'll make a comment on this. Like, at least with GXs,
you have to evolve up.
You have to evolve up to it, and it's even harder if it's a Phase 2 evolution.
Yeah, because that's the thing I liked about GXs when they came out. I was like, finally, the big attack you can only use once, and you have to evolve up to them. That's such better balancing. And then they were like, tag teams, let's ruin everything we just fixed.
Yeah, basic, ready to play as soon as you get it.
Take 3 prize cards when it loses, and it's way too strong.
But yeah, the consistent thing I'm seeing is that you had some good and a lot of meh. That's my final thought on it.
Yeah, once again, except for on special cards, the art didn't really stand out to me. Had lots of cool promos, I'll give it that. It had lots of really cool promos. But overall, Gen 6 was Gen 6. Lots of people didn't like Gen 6 in general because the Gen 6 games aren't anything super special either.
Weren't they still in that transition from 2D to 3D like we see nowadays?
Yes, that was the first big 3D Pokemon game.
But didn't have like 2D backgrounds or 2D sprites or something when you were walking around the overworld or something like that?
No, it was all 3D everywhere.
Oh, okay.
In,
X it was just the first step into 3D?
Yeah. Big Boy Chungus doesn't really do handheld, so...
Mainly
because he only plays console and I only play handheld. So
not because I have anything against handhelds. It's just I've got so much other stuff that I'm investing money in. I kind of have to pace myself.
Yeah, I'm the handheld guy.
So he tells me about handhelds, I tell him about consoles, and then we can have a pretty decent podcast at the end of the day.
But yeah, that's it. Big thoughts on Gen 6. If you would like some merch for our beloved podcast, it's actually on our eBay page, so if you just go to our eBay page, you can get your merch made to order, made in America.
No Chinese children sweat on these shirts.
Yeah, seriously, way more ethical. It's adults sweating over our shirts.
As it should be.
And so it's just some printing company in like North Carolina that makes them. Yeah. I know exactly where the company is.
I bought 2 of them myself just the other day.
Yeah.
I got a Tarp Demon and the one called Fate Knocks at Your Doors t-shirt.
Yeah.
You get them in multiple colors, multiple sizes. Have at it, ladies and gentlemen. I love them.
Also starting to add merch for my other... You can also get one with just the podcast logo on it, too. I need to get all 3 still. I mean, when you're the one running it and making them all, you're kind of just relax about it.
And I came up with most of the characters and ideas. So
yeah. 2 of my 4 things of merch are based directly on things your character in D&D has done.
And shoot, the one with the logo is my dice.
Yeah. Oh, those are your dice?
Yeah.
In that photo? I thought those were commies.
Aren't they? Wasn't the photo taken on my table, or was it at his table?
It was taken on the table at his parents' house.
Oh, never mind then. He just has a similar table.
When they were out of town and he was watching their plays.
My bad. Never mind. I'm an idiot.
That was yeah. So that's it. Want good merch? Check that out. We also have a Facebook page now, B3 Podcasts, where we post lots of updates about this game. Most of the updates I post are about this podcast because this one's weekly and the others are like monthly. Well, one's monthly, one's weekly, and the other one's just whenever we have an episode. But check out our other podcasts, Toku King and In the Fog, and we'll see you all next time.